guys, check out the Next Level games for all your TCG needs. Link is down below in the description of the video. Thanks, guys. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Team Fish Knuckles YouTube channel. Today we're doing a question and answer video for regionals. I think it's Denver. I keep saying Colorado. Is it Denver? Can somebody tell me what city it is?
Denver.
Yeah.
Denver sounds good. So if you're new to the channel, I used to do this like all the time. Like that's what kind of like kicked off the channel. We did like the cities interviews, and we interviewed like pretty much anybody who top 8 out of cities, and that's what kind of like blew the channel up. And Puka was like, "Yo, go watch Team Fish Knuckles. He's posting like a bunch of stuff." So I thought we'd bring it back. And then also I'm joined by the TNLG crew. We're missing just Tommy pretty much in the competitive scene, and James is trying to get back into it. So, oh my goodness, we didn't talk about the order, and everybody's order is different. So, all right, Drew, you talk first, and then talk about like your achievements.
All right, so I guess like achievements this year. All right,
let's hold on. My name's Drew. Blah blah blah.
Drew K.
There we go.
I am at 477 points right now, so almost there. I got 8 at the Collinsville Regionals with Zapdos Ultra Beasts, and my only other like big finish this year was J2 at Roanoke, but it's been a pretty good year.
Yeah.
I actually really liked Standard this year, and that's what I've been playing all season. I haven't played any Expanded yet, but that's probably going to change soon.
All right, let's kick it off to Arlo.
Hi, I'm Arlo at 504 CP. My most recent accomplishment, I got top 4 at Greensboro, and then before that in Dallas, I got top 64. I've mostly just been playing a lot of Expanded this year. I haven't really enjoyed Standard that much. But yeah, I like Zoric decks.
Don't worry, guy.
Alright, Noah, your turn.
Okay, my name's Noah Sawyer. I've been playing the game for almost like 12 years now. I'm currently at like 350 points, and my most recent accomplishment was top 16 at Collinsville with Busted Melmore Giratina. Shout out to Austin Minutes.
Bust.
Alright, and then let's go to Nathan.
Hi, I'm Nathan Brower. I play Pokemon cards.
That's great.
I'm at 300 and something points, 312 I think. Not a whole lot. Working on it though. Going to Denver.
That's why we're here.
Yeah, been playing for a long time. Looking forward to playing some more.
Alright, so let's do this first. Noah, which one, Standard or Expanded?
I prefer Standard, but it's because I have a really dislike for N, a big dislike for N.
Alright, Nathan, how about you, Standard or Expanded?
Right now, Expanded. I like Expanded a lot.
We got a 2-2 tie right now. I would break the tiebreaker, but I don't play competitive, so I don't know right now. I guess I'd probably go Standard because I also hate N to 1, and I also hate there's more stories of, man, I got N to 1 than in Standard I got Marshadow to 4.
Exactly.
So I hear people whine less. Anyways, so I think Noah started something off first. He said how many years he's been playing. So let's do that first. Let's see how many years you've been playing. Drew, how many years you've been playing?
I've been playing off and on for 10 years, so I've had like a couple breaks, but I started 10 years ago.
All right, Arlo.
2. I've been playing for 2.
For 2?
Mm-hmm.
Man's already killing the guy.
I feel like that's a lie.
No, I played VGC for 1 year, and then I transitioned to TCG. I don't count my year as a senior, like actually playing, because I played.
Why would you not count those?
I guess 3.
Because if you tell it to Drew, he can only say like maybe 2 or 3 years. Like,
I thought we were like talking like competitively. Like I've been playing competitively for 2 years, but like total playing the TCG like 3.
oh, so just one. You made it seem like it was a lot longer first. Okay. Nathan, did you say how long you were playing? You said a long time. That was it.
Yeah, I've been playing for about 12 years. I guess the same as Noah. I won a regionals back in 2010 when I was a senior. I got second Florida Regionals in 2016. With Groudon, busted Groudon. Love Groudon.
Alright. So the name of the game this weekend is Denver. It's standard. We already know the format, right? But it is like shifting a little bit, I would say. Like definitely I've seen a lot more hype this weekend for Cups with this like Jirachi Lycanroc, and then I've seen a lot more Pika Rump. I think like just from what I noticed on Cups and like on Hey Fonte and stuff, right? I don't play. I don't travel to different tournaments and stuff, but I see those are like the biggest two decks coming this weekend. All right, so let's go to the questions. We'll go to the questions first. There are very few, but don't worry, we got this. So let's see. Noah, you said you like Malamar, so let's go with this. Why isn't Zoroark Malamar good? You have Max Potion and can fall back to Necrozma GX. Don't let me down.
Oh my goodness. Okay, well I knew Isaiah Bradner would ask me this question. So I don't think it's personally good. I personally don't think it's good due to the fact that bench space. So like if you're gonna want to have at least 2 Zoroarks for trades, you're probably gonna have a Lele out turn 1 after like a Lily or an Elms. And then like you're gonna want like 2 Malamars. Like you're never gonna have room for like the Necrozma. And then I also just feel like it's just a lot of cards to add, and I'd just rather play Fighting Energies and Lycanrocs.
Well, there we go.
Yeah. So like, if I could add something,
Go for it.
you know, I mean, Zoroark already has the capacity to heal in Acerola and the capacity to one-shot in Lycanroc. So you're not really getting anything by adding all this purple energy to your deck and Malamars and junk, right? I mean, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, you got a non-GX attacker pretty much built into your deck, though.
I guess. I mean, that's neat. I mean, if you think that's worth it, I mean, you can go for it. I will not be playing that.
And then your Tech Giratina you put in Zoroark is actually, you can actually attack with it now, so...
I guess that's true. I mean, hey, you know, whatever floats your goat.
Arlo, you got anything to say? I know you said no leaks. I mean, was he like secret deck?
I knew Isaiah would put something whack on there, but I kind of agree with Noah. Like bench space is kind of a huge problem for that deck, because you have to have like like 2 of each out for the deck to like properly function, and then you have no room for attackers. So I just don't think it's just like also kind of like a worse Zoroark, what Noah said, because you can already ace roll and stuff like that.
Okay. And Drew, any input? You just like
That just sounds really bad.
all right, so let's just start. Let's just get this off the start. We'll talk on the topic of Zoroark real quick. Just a thumbs up or thumbs down. We're saying Zoroark Lycanroc is the best like Zoroark variant, right? Like we're all agreeing that that's the best Zoroark variant. Okay, good. Just making sure. I want somebody to ask, like, what do you think the best Zoroark variant? It's 100% Lycanroc. Like, there's no question. So the question might be, do you put Lucario in there? Do you put Oranguru over blah, blah, blah? That's different, but definitely the best variant right now for Zoroark is Lycanroc. Alright. Okay, so, Drew, since you didn't really put an input on this one, we'll let you go first this question. How do we make Snorlax, Ho-Oh, Turtonator great? And I know, and the reason why I asked this is actually a good question that you just asked me. While you asked me, I'm asking this question. You had to deal with Sam Liggett, and he loved his fire decks in Nashville. So, like, we're close. You have
I'm just gonna say, wait till all that fire support comes out, and I think it's like the next set or the set after.
Wielder.
And fire decks just get like super nutty. So just wait a bit. That's my advice.
So we're all saying no go for Denver. No
go for Denver.
Sounds.
Like Ho-Oh's weak to lightning, and then Snorlax is weak to fighting.
That's correct.
And then like you just Acerola a bunch if you don't hit the knockout, which is like kind of hard because you have to hide choice span every turn. And Lele is also really annoying to deal with because you can't attack after you use Ho-Oh's attack. And if you guess me, you don't knock out the Lele.
Now,
yeah, it's also just like a worse Blacephalon.
It's just like a worse deck in general. Like, I'm not even talking about tier 1 through 4. We're talking about, like, tier, what are you doing here? Like, you just paid, what, $40, $50 for regional to put a Ho-Oh GX on your deck. Maybe not Ho-Oh GX. We'll take Turtonator, right? You put a Turtonator on your deck list. Like, what are you doing this tournament? So, All right. Anyways, no go. I don't know if Oscar's playing with us. It's whatever. So someone said Gyarados is a plague. Now, Gyarados by itself, probably terrible, right? I think I saw somebody from the UK made a post about Gyarados, and he like legitimately tried this past weekend. I think it was the UK person. It was some Polkadot, I remember, posted about his Gyarados deck list. But the real question is, what happened to Zoroark Gyarados? Because I remember everybody's like, "Oh, this deck is sick," you know, and is that not a deck anymore? Has anyone actually like tested that? Like, what happened to Zoroark Gyarados?
So I've tested that deck, and only having like the 4 DCE as like you have to hit the DCE like feels pretty bad, honestly. Because like there was a lot of times when testing that deck when I was just like whiffing attacks, and it just like wasn't fun to play because of it. So
Yeah.
I stopped testing after that.
With the introduction of Pikachu Zekrom, Zoroark decks, in order to keep up in that matchup, have to play fighting stuff. They don't really have the room for the Gyarados, and the reason why the deck was played was to have a weakness on Blacephalon, which was seen compared to like last format when was only Lost Thunder, saw a huge decrease in play.
Okay, so the answer to Bill's question is Gyarados to play. No. I mean, once again, you're putting Gyarados on a deck list. You're paying $40-$50 for a tournament. That's just.
And even if he's talking about like the newer Gyarados, so like this card's the top 7, which is probably the one he's probably talking about. That's the one I thought you were talking about the whole time. Like the one energy, it discards like the top like 7.
I didn't even know there's new Gyarados.
Yeah,
so
like for 1 water, it discards like the top 7 or 8 cards of your deck, and it does like 30 times the amount of water energy there, and then you shuffle the water energy back in and you discard the rest.
Oh.
So it's like a deck by itself. So you essentially use like Crash or Wakes and junk to like go through your deck early. So the reason I don't think that one's good is because like I feel like it just struggles against like Zapdos. I would feel like because they can just like pick off all your 1-prize dudes and just use Electric Powers and like Gyaradoses.
You can't hit Gyarados for weakness though, Zapdos.
Well, yeah, that's what I was saying. Like you use like the Electric Powers on the big Gyarados, and then you guys make the other ones. Plus, like Let Loose Turn 1 is really annoying because they run like 20 something water energy.
Yeah, no, they lose to like getting judged like really hard.
Let Loose.
So,
Yeah.
so that makes sense now because in the deck list the guy showed, it was like 1 billion water energy. I'm like, what is this guy doing? Not knowing there's new Gyarados. I'm like, this man needs a DCE. He has no DCEs.
Yeah, you said Gyarados and Zoroark. I was like, when did this become a thing? I thought
Sorry.
it was like,
Sorry.
Yeah, it's fine.
Obviously, it hasn't made it to Rogue Tuesday and Squeaky's level. So like, nobody's even talked about. Like, I've never even heard of this Gyarados till right now, until the past week.
I have the deck built.
I've seen someone top 8 a cup with it, like on post from like,
Whoa! So
Ponte.
I found my Rogue Tuesday deck for next week. It's gonna be this Gyarados. I want to get it working somehow, man. All right, Nate, you have anything to say about it, Nathan? You any input on Gyarados? Either one.
My only input is I don't really know what it does, the water energy one. But I sat next to it one round in a tournament, and the guy had a lot of water energy. He lost, but it was neat looking over and seeing him play a Gyarados. So if you like Gyarados, go for it. I guess.
You one-shot Pikarom if you hit 7 water energy.
Wow. Well, see, the problem is though, is that if you're hitting that many water energy, then your deck is all water energy. So then like.
That's
your top decks are water energy. Yeah, that's kind of the goal of the deck. But like, but then like they knock out your guy, and then like your hand's all water energy, and you top deck water energy, and you Cynthia into water energy.
But that's and so you play Vulpix, or yeah, you play a Alolan Vulpix, and you just like early turn set up as many Gyarados as possible, and then you get to a point where everything in your deck is water energy because you've discarded everything else, and you just like swing.
Everyone's like Crash
240, 240.
Yeah.
And you
just have to get to that point.
Needless to say, I have not tested it, so if it's good, go for it, guys. Play Gyarados.
Get that day 2 Gyarados.
We're gonna feel real silly when like one makes cut.
I think it's like a really good like beginner deck because the strategy is like really streamlined. So that's why I have it built, is because I'll like hand it off to my friends who like haven't played.
That's cool.
And deck is like super budget. Like if you don't have any money, like you could you could build Gyarados as well. So
I guess half has energy, so that's really cheap.
you play like 34 water energies.
It's like a couple cents. You got your deck, bud.
You could probably get it for free if you ask enough people.
Yeah,
So-
actually, probably.
All right, so let's go to some different questions here. I don't know. It's probably the first real question we've had. Let's go with Arlo starting off with this question. All right, so everybody listen, ready? Any decks that have a chance of doing well that are outside the top 4 to 5 decks, and he's talking about outside of Zapdos, Pikarom, Blounds, Zoroark, and Ultra Mally. I'm trying to think if he missed any.
Probably
Not-
the left one.
Yeah, he said Bacillion. He said Blounds. So Zapdos, Pikarom, Blounds, Zoroark, and Ultra Mally. So let's go, Arlo. What was one deck that you don't think that's in the top 5 that could actually do well?
Definitely Mill. I feel like people are going to be underprepared for it again. So stuff like Regigigas Hoopa is going to come out of nowhere and like be like a big factor. Because a lot of the Zoroark decks are playing Oranguru, so they kind of they can't really beat that. They just run them out of resources. And stuff like Cephalon and Malamar. Malamar takes like the Vileplume stuff, makes him only able to attack with Malamar, which is just 60 damage a turn. And if they play it correctly, they can just heal the 60 every turn with the Prism Stadium. So I feel like Mill just has a lot of good matchups right now, and it's not really as expected because like the Jolteon, Pikarom stuff that can just overrun it. But I feel like Mill could make a big presence in Denver.
Okay. How about you, Noah? What would you say is one deck out of the 5 that you would expect?
I have like 2 decks. One I'm gonna.
No. I'm gonna stop you.
Oh, okay.
One.
Okay, then, Charizard. So I've been seeing Charizard also top a lot of cups recently, and I think it's just a really random rogue deck. I lost to it actually at a cup just due to unfortunate draws with Zoroark. Because like they just like with an energy for turn, their ability, and a choice band, they're one-shotting Zoroark, which is really annoying. And they're a one-price attacker, and they have Blacephalon's GX attack to like close out games. It seems like a cute little deck, and it seemed kind of consistent because you just get to thin your deck out every turn with its abilities.
Okay. I also saw that Russell said he lost to it, if I remember correctly, in the finals. So I know for sure it won a cup, and I think somebody else said it won North Carolina. So who knows? All right, Drew, if you're picking one, what one deck?
So I'm gonna have to agree with Arlo and say that Mill is probably like the one like missing from that list because it's another thing that's gonna fly under people's radar if they've been like playing a lot of cups because Mill doesn't usually show up to cups because you play best of 1. So it's like one of those like decks that's a lot better at like the regional level when you're playing best of 3 rounds and you have 50 minutes to finish the first game. And then after you finish the first game, you just like win.
True. All right, Nathan, you got a different deck?
Yeah, so I mean, I agree with the other folks that gave their deck, but if I would offer something different, I would say probably Alola Dex. I think it has some bad matchups, but if you can avoid those bad matchups, it's pretty solid. I mean, 160 HP is a really big number. On a stage 1, doing 120 every turn for 1 energy, like, I mean, that can't be bad, right?
No. For 1 energy, no. So, all right. So I guess so my question to y'all, like I said, I don't really play. Like, is just Guardians just like not a thing anymore? Did I miss something?
Yeah, like stuff like Zapdos.
Yeah.
It's like overrun their early game board. They just go switch card, 1 energy, and that's enough for a knockout. That card. And stuff like Pikarom, even like you would feel like that would be a really good matchup for Gardevoir because Pikarom uses a lot of energy. But 240 is a really hard number to hit when they're constantly like early game pressuring your basic Pokemon. Like you can just get 2 Gardevoir and just be like double Secret Spring, DC Choice Band. It's quick anymore.
And then like a lot of decks are also in Coco GX now. So like if you ever overextend a Gardevoir, they can just like slap down that Coco GX and just one-shot it.
Yeah.
I got you. So always in my mindset, I stopped playing, I guess, like 2 or 3 months ago when like the Swampert Guardian, like and like all the Alola Ninetales decks were a thing. So I'm like, why are these setup decks not a thing anymore? And then you kept saying Zapdos. I'm like, oh yeah, this little guy that just like smacks you in the face for 80 every single turn is a thing now. Like,
yeah,
setup decks were like alive for like 1 second. Now they're gone. So, which I hate. Like, it was so much fun playing these setup decks. Like, the Decidueye was everywhere. Yeah, the Alola Ninetales is helping every deck, and now it's just like, I mean, how much is Alola Ninetales now? It has to be cheap now, right?
Like 15.
Oh, I don't even know.
That's effective on 15.
Jeez. Okay. All right. So there's one deck that nobody said, and kind of what Drew said. I think is the answer, but he said it's Bassimian the play.
I'm gonna pitch in on this, and I saw someone play Bassimian at a League Cup, and it did what it used to do, and it just missed the card it needed to win, just because it's kind of inconsistent. Like, even if you add Jirachis, like, you're still gonna need to find an energy every turn. You're like, Muck shuts off like the abilities, and then Zapdos also can like still weave around it, I guess. But I mean, yeah, you have Coco, but I mean, they can still like kind of weave around it. I don't know. It just seems like kind of inconsistent, like a worse Zapdos.
Yeah, you can kind of against that deck as Zapdos. You can kind of what you do against Trev in expanded format. You can kind of stagger benching your bench Pokemon so they don't get multiple Coco spreads off at once. And I feel like Bassimian is like a deck you can always play around, and of course Muck being a huge factor in the Zoroark decks.
It's just
I mean,
it's like inconsistent, and its matchups aren't as great as they might seem like they are on paper. Because like you're hitting for like the types that you want to be hitting for, but then you have turns where you're not hitting. So
Yeah.
exactly, yeah. Like every time I play it, I always whiff DCE, and I'm like, why am I playing this deck? I can't even attack.
or you get the counter energy, and it's like you're not on like counter energy turn, or they like haven't like taken a knockout.
Yeah, it's like you're
sit there.
You're a DCE attacking deck, and you don't have trade. So like, what you
Yeah.
even doing?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, that was my main thing. What Drew said is like you only have DCE, and once you whiff it, you're like, man, like, all right, I guess I'm passing. Like, even though I take a one shot, you're not hitting it every single turn. So like,
I mean, some lists are playing, from what I've heard, some lists are playing like Electro Powers and like a few Lightning Energies and Coco Prism. So like use Coco Prism to attach like 2 Lightnings, and then they can just go like 1 Lightning or like maybe a counter game if they play it, because they also play the Coco for the spread. But I don't know how I like that either, because it just feels like I'm filling my deck up with even more inconsistent cards that I can get low boost or judged into late game.
true.
If
Okay.
you are playing like it with the lightning energies, you can also run like
Exactly.
a couple of Zapdos
Yeah.
as like an alternate attacker for if you like miss DCE. Like I feel like if you're playing Bassimian,
That's cool.
that's probably the route to go. But
Yeah, my friend Ty won a cup of that deck.
So maybe Bassimian, but definitely like more on the no side than yes.
yeah,
So-
Yeah.
There's better single prize attacking decks out there right now.
I mean, you're speaking to a guy who played Bassimian for regionals with Kevin Baxter and other people, and like it was fun, but that was it. It was a fun deck, and we're like, all right, we had this great idea. We're like, we're gonna play Bassimian, and Kevin was like, yeah, we're gonna play 1 attacking monkey and double Gladian. I'm like, dude, we're gonna play 1 attacking monkey, and like, it was fun. Like, I'll give you that much. Like, but 9 rounds of playing monkey, you're like, okay, I don't know what I do in my life right now. So that's my advice for Bassimian, since I've been there, done that. All right, but Noah touched on something kind of at the next topic, and that's about Muck. Somebody said, okay, so when you play Muck, would you more play of a Ditto Muck? And let's just say just in general, right? I don't know what deck we're talking about, just in general. Would you play just Ditto Muck, or would you play a Grimer Muck, or 2 Grimer, 1 Muck? Let's go with Nathan first.
So, you definitely want to have 2 options to bench to get your Muck out, be it like a Ditto and a Grimer, or I mean, like if you're not playing Ditto, which I mean you should be, then 2 Grimer, but just play 1 Ditto, 1 Grimer, because they can obviously just Guzma 1 and kill it, and then you can't. If you only have the 1, then you can't get Muck in play. But if you have 2, you can evolve the other one. I think 2 Grimer and a Ditto is too much, because then you're gonna like Star Grimer, and that's pretty bad. I don't know. Play it. So like, what Zach Saj did in his Blounds list was 1 Grimer, 1 Muck, and I think that. Sorry, 1 Grimer, 1 Ditto. Sorry, they're all squishy Pokemon. They all run together in my head. No, one Grimer, one Ditto, and I think that's really good. I tested with that a little bit, and it seems pretty solid. You just bench both of them, and then they can't deal with both, and then you get the muck out.
Okay. Arlo, do you have anything to add to that, or would you say something different?
No, that's pretty spot on. Yeah, I think you always have to play 2 outs, and definitely having a Ditto over a second Grimer for the reasons Nathan stated. Starting Grimer is pretty bad because you don't have like Float Stone in this format. And also just being able to use Ditto like in a non-matchup you don't need Muck for. You can still use Ditto to evolve into, like, say, a Zoroark or Lycanroc or something like that.
Okay. Drew, anything or no?
I don't think I have anything to add related to that. I mean, just like the 1-1 split with like the Ditto and then the Muck is the way to go, honestly. I mean, I guess like if you really need the deck space, and no. I think you gotta run the one of each, pretty much.
I got you.
That's just really.
Because I mean, all decks are playing for Guzma pretty much. So like, if you just have the 1/1 Muck option, like your one base is gonna die. I mean, if it's a deck that really hates Muck, they're gonna target that down.
Yeah.
No, anything or just same thing?
No, only really thing I have to add is like if you're only playing the Ditto, like Nathan said, like a lot of decks running for Guzma, or if you only bench the Ditto, turn 1 Escape Rope is a thing, and people are starting to add Wobbuffet in their decks as well. It's like if you play only the Ditto Prism, like that Wobbuffet's just gonna get out, and you're just gonna have that Ditto Prism the whole game.
I mean, probably just did win a tournament with Wobbuffet, so I imagine we're definitely gonna see it more on Pikarom list. So, man. It kind of feels
that's underrated, I think.
I agree. I remember somebody played one of their decks in regionals, and it was on stream. And I was like, "What is this Wobbuffet doing?" And just like, I don't know what the matchup was, but I was like, "Holy cow, that's broken." So, it seems good. So, I don't know. To me, it kind of feels like, why would you not play it? I wish this card was like.
It has a lot of uses.
Yeah.
Because like there's so many like Prism Star Pokemon that are good as well. You just kind of shut those off, which is
like
nice.
Coco Prism, Lunala Prism, we're still playing that.
Like Coco Prism, and like if you're playing Zapdos, if you like shut off their other Coco Prism, they can't like return combo into you with their Coco Prism into Coco GX, which is nice.
Okay, so let's go on the topic like you said, Wobbuffet. And we talk about Ditto, we're talking about Grimer and everything like that. Is there another tech card that you might randomly see in other decks if you're going to Denver that you should watch out for? I mean, because if you're watching this and you have no idea about Wobbuffet, what else should they worry about that they might see? I don't know if there is any one of tech cards.
A lot of people are splashing Absol into stuff. I don't really like that card because I don't know. A lot of people are already playing like so many outs to it, like in the decks where it ends up actually mattering. Maybe if lists start to not so much favor switch cards, Absol becomes good again. It's just kind of one of those things where I feel like most people are already prepared for it.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's worth a card slot.
One of my favorite tech cards, if I were going to Denver, is Zebstrika. Just because all the Zoroark decks are playing so many outs to get the Muck out as fast as possible against the Zapdos Jirachi decks. We saw Zool. He played a Zapdos Ultra Beast deck, and he played Tustu Zebstrika, help him be able to still draw cards when your opponent has Muck down. And that's just, I don't really just like having Zebstrika out, because even if you need to dig for one card and you don't have access to Jirachi, you can sprint multiple times and have a better chance of finding it.
Okay. Nathan, no, you have any super you should? I think you should play this tech card or no?
No. I mean, I think so. I think you should be playing Absol in Zapdos decks. I think I'm gonna disagree with Drew a little bit. I think it's really good. I don't think you should play it in stuff like Zoroark, but in decks that have they can afford the bench space like Zapdos decks, I think you should play one.
I think Nihilego is a good tech card in specific decks. The Ultra Beast thing, or if your opponent has if you have 2 prizes or your opponent, I forgot which one it is. Is it you can copy like Dangerous Rogue or something like that? It's really cute in some decks.
Alright, there we go. I would say, I mean, I know it's not really a tech card, but one of my favorite tech cards, like almost a lot of decks, is just Giratina. I just love the idea just be able to splash 10 damage on 2 Pokemon. Like, I know it doesn't seem like a big deal, but Crobat was always like a pain in my butt. Crobat G. So, like, anything that reminds me of SP stuff is something I always, like, think about, so.
It just kind of depends on like what math your deck can do.
Well, true, yeah. So, I just think it's splashable. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe there's other decks that could be working in besides Zork and Malamar. I have no idea, but if somebody else put in other decks, I would not be sad. So.
Wait,
All right.
people play getting Zoroark?
Yeah.
Just a simple Cephalon. You can just like you can Kukui without the Devoured Field, and then like Dangerous Ruggable Cephalon on the bench, and then put down the Giratina and skip their B string.
That's really cool.
Yeah, dude, it is. Oh my god.
I like it, yeah.
So, anytime you can just Ultra Ball away a Giratina, your opponent's like, oh man, like when is this damage like coming? Like, and if they forget about it late game, you can just pop it out any moment. They just don't even remember, and like, it's such a spooky card that you can just Ultra Ball away any moment. Your opponent's just going to forget about it. So, I don't know. It's the card I've always liked. So, but like I said, I've only seen the Zork decks for the most part. So. Alright, so here's a good question, and I think we've all been here before, especially in this meta now. Like, right, we keep talking about Zork, we haven't really talked about Pikarom that much, and Zapdos is like the two biggest ones, like Zork and Zapdos, right? But there's like, we'd all agree there's 4 to 5 decks that are the best decks, right?
Yeah.
So the question he's asking is, how do you decide, like, what deck you're going to play? I'm going to throw my input. It kind of, like, matters, like, what's my favorite. Like, no matter what tournament I'm going to this year, I'm picking Zork Lycanroc. Any moment this year, I would pick Zork Lycanroc. It doesn't matter what format we've been in. I've always thought that was the best deck, just because what I like. But let's go with Nathan. How do you decide, like, out of the 4 or 5 decks, like, which one do you go with?
So, above all else, you should play what you're comfortable with. If you can't decide, play what you think. But if you're comfortable with all of them, or you're trying to make the best play, I mean, think what you're gonna see. Think in your 9 rounds. What decks do you think you're gonna face? Do you think you're gonna face like 2 Zoroark Lycanrocs, 2 Pikaroms? Just like pick numbers in your head, and think what you're gonna face, and then pick the deck that has the best matchups against those decks. But I mean, if you can't decide, and you've been playing one deck for a while, just play that one deck.
I agree. Alright, Noah, how about you? How do you decide out of the 4 or 5 decks? I'm picking this one.
I think I'm gonna have to agree with Nathan. I think if you're comfortable with the deck, definitely pick it. I mean, also like mapping out like your rounds. I like to do that at tournaments a lot. I'm like, what do I think I'm actually gonna play against? And what do I think out of all the top decks, which one do I think is going to be the least popular out of the top 5? And then I try to pick a deck out of like the top 5 that I were to pick, and take the loss to the one that has the least popularity. I don't know if I said that correctly. It's kind of a weird sentence, but
I got you.
Just to add a little bit more, even like if there's like this crazy hype deck that's like most of the deck at the regionals, you're gonna face 2 or 3 of them. Okay, you've still got 7 more rounds of other decks you're gonna face, right? So I mean, it's very realistic. You could play 9 rounds of 9 different decks. So don't get caught in the I have to beat this deck. I'm gonna play this deck just to counter Zoroark because I'm gonna face so many Zoroarks. I mean, just play what you think is good. Play what you think is gonna beat what you think you're gonna face, and play what you're comfortable with.
Okay. How about you, Arlo? How do you decide, like, 4 or 5 decks? I'm picking this one.
I always choose the decks that are the most consistent, because for stuff like, for instance, Zoroark or Zapdos Jirachi are the decks that I've been playing a lot in Standard. Just because you have access to Jirachi in trade, which can help you get out of bad situations, as sort of like out of a let-loose judge or anything like that. And I also like raw aggression decks, also like Zoroark and Zapdos, with just being able to like pick off stuff early and just kind of control the game's pace. I just so how I just picked it, and also of course, well, for like trying to decide your comfort deck as well. Like we saw Zach Lesage, who was played Blacephalon at every event, and then took it out of what everyone thought was like a dead deck, and then Collinsville Regionals with it. So
He even thought it was a dead deck too, and he still won with this. So you know. All right, how about you, Jer? How do you decide?
So pretty much like I agree with everything that's been said. It's just you want to try out all the decks and like see what like clicks with you. It's also important to like analyze like what your matchups are going to be and like metagame accordingly. The only and like to me like consistency is super important. Like I don't want to just like go like oh shoot.
We got a note on your
Basically,
computer or
don't
something?
lose.
Okay,
Don't lose a discard.
I just disconnected, but I'm back now.
You didn't. It didn't seem like you disconnected.
It didn't seem like it disconnected.
No.
No.
Okay.
I thought you had like notes on your computer and you like deleted them or something. I was like, what is happening?
It like so Skype like showed for me it was like not connected, and I was like, oh, I gotta like reconnect. That was weird. Okay, where did I leave off?
Consistency.
Yeah, consistency is super important to me. I don't want to like go like pay all this like entry fee and like hotel and travel money to just like go like not play games. So I think that that's like super important. Like when picking a deck for regionals, you want to play like a deck that's actually gonna allow you to like play the game. But something that is more so for like once you've like started like honing in on like what decks you like, you want to start like developing game plans for all the big matchups that you're going to be playing against, and you want to like have something in your head, like you know that you're going to go for like this plan of action and have like combos and like things that you can keep in mind like for specific matchups, so that way you don't like miss those opportunities in tournament. And like it once you like find a deck where you feel like confident in like all the different matchups and you know exactly what your plan is, then I'd say that that's probably a pretty solid pick.
one thing I want to add is, even though like I'll give an example for me. At Nats last year, I tested Zoroark for about a month, tested every single matchup, and then switched to Greninja at the last second. I would highly recommend not switching like decks right at the last second, because you would have spent all this time on a deck and just know it from the back of your hand, which is really important for going into a tournament of like larger size than like a League Cup, League Challenge, something like that. And also just switching decks kind of gets you a little nervous, which could not be that great, because Greninja's a nerve-wracking deck that feels not good.
You're explaining my first like 4 regionals where I just swapped decks and then I did like bad like at all of them.
Hey, I built Gallade the night before Toronto, or I guess the evening before Toronto. Connor and I threw cards out of an Elite Trainer box, and spawned Gallade from ashes, and I made top 32 with it. So don't try that at home. Don't do that.
I guess one thing that nobody really talked about, like how do you decide what 4 or 5 decks you're going to play, or which one you're going to play out of the 4 or 5 decks? It kind of also determines like what your friends are playing, right? If you go into a hotel room and you're staying with your friends and like a lot of them are playing a certain deck, I've noticed people start gravitating towards that deck, even if they have something in mind. They go to the hotel, I'm like, oh yeah, like half the time I have a deck in mind, and I'm staying with Kevin Baxter, and Kevin like does his like weird mystery magic in my brain. I'm like, send me into play, Kevin. I got you, bud. And like we all hop in there, and like I've seen those other people as well. They're going to hotels rooms and they know what they're playing, and they go there, and their friends like kind of like they talk out through the night, like, okay, we're playing this deck now. Especially when you're test playing that late at night. And I know that people can say this. You start test playing against your friends, and like your friends beat you with their deck, and like, well, that's the play. Like, but to go to Arlo said, do you switch at that last moment, or do you stick with the deck you've always known?
That's what I did.
Yeah, actually. So to continue off of what Josh just said, I went to what was the last regionals?
Greensboro.
Greensboro. So I went to the hotel room, and I was gonna play Trevenant, And then we get there. Connor did not want to play Trevenant. I'm like, okay, well, so we sat there. We like invented this crazy Giratina Turbo Darkrai deck. This is like 3 in the morning. We eventually fall back on Gallade again. We add a little Eradicate to it. We go to the tournament. We buy Gnaw Rattatas because it was the best Rattata, by the way. The morning of, we almost didn't get them all. So we're stressing out, building this new deck. Gallade with Eradicate, trying to beat Trevenant, right? And Andy Gray was in our hotel room, and he went. And he tested a couple games with his Archie's Toys that he was already going to play. Didn't change any cards. Went to bed in a timely manner. And then made top 4. So, that was definitely a lesson to us. Don't go inventing crazy stuff at Sweden. I mean, it worked once in Toronto, but that was, I think, a fluke. Just play what you're comfortable with. Bring it back to the tournament. Don't change it. Go to bed. Get some sleep.
There you go.
To elaborate on that, I was at St. Louis and I was in the hotel room. I had Ultra Malamar sleeved up. I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna play this. And then everyone got the phone at the same time, and then Poet just sent a Zoroark list to everybody, and we all were just like, you know what, it looks really good. Let's just play it. And we tested it for like an hour. It was really good, but we forgot to play a Rangaroo, and that was really bad.
Oof.
One of the first regionals I went to, me and my friend Dalen were set on playing Zoroark Magcargo, and this was when Grant Manley made top 8 playing Zoroark Magcargo. And the night before, we let our friend Xander Bendit talk us into playing Zoropod, and all of us did not make day 2 playing Zoropod. And guess who made top 8 playing Zoroark Magcargo? Grant Manley did.
So
we were like, hey, we really should have played this because we would have won round 1. We would have won the tournament. Whoa!
Learn from more mistakes.
yeah. So what I'm trying to point, what we're preaching is whatever deck you feel comfortable with, play it. And now I know there's always these posts, and I've seen them, and I hate these posts where you see people like, oh, I built this deck at 6 a.m. and I made top 8 with it. Yeah. Yeah, you might have. Don't get me wrong.
For every one of those stories, there's like 5 stories where somebody built a deck the night before and lost, right? I mean,
yeah.
The team up mime deck we played. We were at a Waffle House at 3 a.m. before Greensboro. We were like, you know what? We're gonna hit some Trevenants and we're gonna destroy them with this mime. And it ended up not being bad. It was definitely cutting it from the list after that tournament. But it was nice to stop Acerola on Archie's Toys and have my opponent have to call a judge 3 times.
All right, so let's answer one more question before we go, because I think this is the biggest question everyone wants to answer. If you were going this weekend, what deck would you play? But not only that, what is one advice you would give while playing the deck? And I think that's something everybody talks to, is like advice of the deck, right? Like, and just what deck would you play? I mean, of course it might change, and we know some people aren't going. Who's going? Is this just Nathan and Noah? Or? Yeah.
I'll be there.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, let's start with the 2 people that aren't going first. Drew, what deck would you play, and what's one advice you'd give somebody?
So I'd be playing Zapdos Ultravius. The deck it's my favorite deck right now. It's what I'm most comfortable with. I think it's underrated and super strong. One thing that I feel like I notice that a lot of people with Zapdos in general seem to struggle with is they don't conserve their Electro powers properly. You really want to manage that resource better and save it for knockouts. That's just one thing that a lot of people, they just get too trigger happy with their Electro powers. But I like saving them for big explosive turns, or on turns where it's I really need to take a knockout here.
He's 3 Electro powers and gets me to knock out one of my Lucario's in the League Cup.
Yeah. that was the game winning
turn. It was the winning turn too.
Yeah.
Alright, Arlo, what deck would you play, and what advice would you give somebody?
I would probably play the Pikabox deck, the deck that plays a 2/2 of every lightning attacker in the standard format right now. I really like that deck because it has a wide variety of options you can choose. My favorite part about the deck is that it can control the tempo Like you can just go ultra fast with Zapdos. With just you play like a 3-2. I play 3 Jirachi 2 Zapdos, just to like be able to start Jirachi, then also have Zapdos just to like early game pressure, and then you get, later on in the game you could switch into the Pikachu Zekrom or like Zero Aura GX and just kind of destroy them from there. I just really like controlled tempo decks in this game, right? In the standard format right now. And one advice I would give is what's good advice? Definitely try and fit in a weakness policy, just because I keep losing to Zork fighting decks with that deck, just because they can also play the Muck as well to shut off your Jirachi, Zapdos, Edison, and then you can't really safely go into a Pikachu Zekrom without them threatening a 3-prize turn knockout. So I think people are not going to see the weakness policy like one of whoever, how many you decide to play, and like I've seen like a lot less Field Blower and Zork fighting decks because of playing that, but that's personally what I would play.
All right. How about you, Noah?
Personally, as of now, I'm gonna more than likely be playing Giratina Melmar. I think the deck is still very good. I think I've put the most testing in with that deck. I've tested that deck for like a month, and like my advice I would give is don't listen to other people. I've put so much testing into that deck along with other people, and every time I've talked to someone about it, they've always said, "Don't play that deck. That deck's bad. I don't think it's that good." And then as soon as I play it, I'm just like, "How are you not beating this matchup?" Because I'm beating it every time. I think that deck's very good. I think it's very underrated, and I think it's probably going to be my play for Denver unless Nathan talks me into some crazy deck again.
All right, Nathan. How about you? What deck? Oh wait, you said to stick with deck again.
Well,
Wait,
I'm one of those people that's telling Noah not to. I'm one of those people telling Noah not to play TNMR. I also played it in Collinsville and I got burned by Absol and Muck and all that. I just was not beating Zapdos and I don't know. But we'll see. As for the deck, I'm disappointed because Arlo said exactly what I was going to say. I think Pika Box is currently by default for Denver. I think it's really strong. You go Zapdos early. Take a few prize cards and then shift very seamlessly into Pikachu. It's very strong. You have a lot of options. I think it's consistent because you got Jirachi engine on top of everything. If I could give a piece of advice, this might seem obvious, but when you use your Cocoa Prism, bench it and use it in the same turn. Don't let it sit in there if they can kill it. I've seen a lot of people just kind of like leave it there and then they just like evolve it into Muck and then now it's useless, or they just knock it out. Your Cocoa Prism is a very valuable resource, so definitely be careful with it.
yeah,
I don't know. That's all I got.
that's fine with me. I guess if I was going this weekend, I'd play Zork Lycanroc. If that means anything, I don't know if it does or doesn't. It just seems broken. You got the Muck in there. You got the Giratina to take some cheeky knockouts. You play against a Rangaroo if you think you're going to play against the stall decks. Zork is just busted. We got Trade. It's a broken ability. And then maybe play a Lucario in there so you one-shot those Pikachus out of nowhere. So, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. But yeah, I think it's went pretty well, guys. I don't think that, there's no more questions on Facebook. There hasn't been for a little while. But I think we covered a lot about it. And I think, now it's just time for shout-outs. And I'm going to start out by saying shout out to TNLG. If you don't know, we're on Limitless now. So I think that's pretty cool. I think everybody in here can agree that it's pretty cool that we're all on Limitless. So let's just start, giving your shout-outs. Nathan, you went last, and now you go first. Give your shout-outs, and yeah.
Shout out to my mom.
There we go.
Yeah, shout out to all you guys for making this game fun to play.
All right, how about you, Noah?
Shout out to Jeff for running such an awesome League Cup the other day. Shout out to my parents, and then shout out to Rick Mitchell for being such a cool guy.
It's his birthday today.
Yeah.
I know.
Not if you're watching.
Rick.
Not if you're watching this, but yesterday when we recorded this, it was his birthday. So there we go. So, all right, Earl, how about you?
Yeah, obviously shout out to all you guys. Really excited to have joined the team recently. And also shout out to my good testing partners, Jake Ewart, Alec Geisler, and Mo. We test pretty much every day on Skype, and they're just awesome buddies to hang with.
Oh, Skype. This man out here playing real cards. Whoa. proud of you. All right,
Yeah.
I mean, I used to do all the time before PTCGO was a thing, so I understand the struggle. Like, I got you.
I can't draw cards on PTCGO. I don't know why. It's just draw packs the entire time.
Randomization sucks on PTCGO. So, all right, Drew, what about you?
Shout outs to TNLG for sponsoring. Shout outs to Team TNLG for being a busted team. And shout out to like Middle Tennessee Pokemon crowd. And yeah, I think that's it.
So I'm disappointed because the whole reason we started this is because Drew was like, "Can you give a shout out to my Twitter?"
Oh
And-
yeah, at dead underscore on Twitter.
Oh yes, also follow me.
Also on Twitter.
I'm trying to use Twitter more.
I don't remember my app, but I think it's just Arlo and some numbers.
Don't worry, if you want to follow them on Twitter, I'll have the links
It'll
down
be in
below.
the description.
Dude, you already know.
Yeah.
Drew was like, "I need a shout out for my Twitter," and I was
I
like,
did not say that. I did not say I needed a shout out for my Twitter.
"Yes, you did."
Can I get one?
He was like, "I'm only gonna do this if I can give a shout out to my Twitter," and
I'm gonna
then
get like, I'm not. Nobody's gonna follow me. I'm gonna have like 2 people unfollow me instead.
I hope people unfollow you somehow.
I'm gonna do it right now just for the meme.
Oh no, it's already happening.
Alright, but guys, there we go. If you have any more questions about Denver, let us know. And then what's after Denver? Is it standard, expanded? Who knows?
I think it's Daytona, right?
Yes, Daytona.
At the end of the month.
Daytona expanded.
Is Daytona new or old format still?
Expanded. There's no new cards.
Expanded.
No new cards.
Same format.
Jeez, when's
Don't
the
play
new?
Adelaide.
When's the
Right
new?
after that is-
Well,
there's a pre. I'm going to. I think there's a pre-release for it, like the week of Daytona, or something like that, or the week after.
Well, don't worry. Maybe before Daytona, we'll talk about it. And heck, who even knows? I don't know what the new set's called, but maybe we'll talk about it. I don't even know any cards are in it, so we'll figure it out together. I don't know what's in this game anymore. We learned what Gyarados.
That's huge, supposedly.
Well, this set was huge too. There was like 1 billion cards supposedly.
It's gonna be the same. It's gonna be like 3 sets in one again next set.
Holy
For
cow!
Baby Blacephalon.
Baby Blacephalon.
There's a baby, Blacephalon has a baby supposedly. I didn't know that either.
It's like the same thing.
Baby
as-
Blacephalon's not good.
What?
Drew, I'm about to
Oh my God. I feel like we can talk about this. All right, guys, let's wrap up this regionals, and then we can talk about afterwards. Join us afterwards. TFK After Dark. Talk about future cards that don't matter for Denver regionals. But guys, thanks for joining. Shout out to TNLG one more time. We're doing great. Hopefully everybody in this video plus Tommy gets their invite. I mean, excluding me. So yeah. All right, guys. Have a great day. Thanks everybody. Hit the subscribe button. See you tomorrow for another deck. I think we're covering. I can't remember what we're playing. All right. Bye.